Just keep disrespecting me, Channy. Hey, we back, baby. This is the first time that we have done an episode of this since I think before I got married. Because the last episode that we did was the last episode of AfroLatinos we did was the In the Heights review show. And that was the Wednesday before. So that was June 15th, June 16th, something like that. So it's been a smooth month since we've been out here, bro. That's crazy. You don't have no emotions?
No.
Have I ever told you how great you are?
Nope.
I never told you that?
Nope.
Dang, that's so crazy. Really? I'm not about to start either, apparently. I'm just playing with you, bro. But how's life? How you been, man?
Tired.
Tell the people how you been.
Exhausted.
Why you so exhausted?
Because this job ain't shit.
Why you feel that way, man? You out here making the bank. Now, you don't got to put your whole business out there. I know. We know behind the scenes what it's like.
It's ass. That's what it is.
Hey, I'm sorry.
Long
bro.
story short, how do I put it into words that you guys can understand? Okay. 2 words.
Mm-hmm.
They capping, basically. That's what it is.
They meaning the company you're working for?
I can say Hershey, but I cannot speak.
That's for a whole other. That's a whole other. Yeah.
I can't speak. They it's in the contract that we cannot slander their name.
I get it. We know. We know.
I mean, Hershey can. Absolutely. Hershey can. Yeah.
It's all good, bro. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. All right, you ready to kick the show off, man? Let's get this show started. You ready?
I don't got a choice, guy.
You right? We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new episode of AfroLatinos with your co-host, Aubyn.
And your co-host, Chandler, and I have one comment.
Don't even say it. It's not worth it, bro.
Bro, you put the worst videos you possibly could where I look like I'm just there.
That's how you be sometimes, bro. You just be here.
I didn't know I looked like that. I'm dead.
Look, I'll be trying to find clips. I was just kind of scrolling through the videos to find the clips to use for the show or for that video, and I was like, man, I really don't. I tried, as many times as possible, I tried to find episodes where I knew that we were laughing and I could get like a.
That's it. I just need one clip where we were just laughing. That's it. That's all I need.
The very first one, we're both cracking up because it's the episode. I could tell you why I opened up with that one. It was the very first episode. Maybe second episode that we started the live video recording of this show, and the clip that I chose to put up on to start the thing is when I say what's the most expensive thing you've ever bought, and you were shooting in the cloud, and you said, that was one of the funniest, hands down, one of the funniest moments of the show that we've ever had. I was crying.
I missed that class. I'm gonna hold you.
Oh, you missed the closet. You missed New York. You missed your old school, Channy?
I don't miss Snipefeld. I miss New York. I miss New York.
There is a difference. All right, well, let's get the show on the road. Let's just get it started. We're here tonight. We're a special episode. This is the first time we've done this in a long time. So if it's choppy, if it's not, up to par, we're sorry. We're just getting back into the swing of things. We wanted to come on tonight and talk about. Hello, Brandon Cooper. Welcome to the other show. We wanted to talk about the new Space Jam that just came out. Space Jam: A New Legacy. The first Space Jam, the original movie starring none other than Michael Jordan, came out in 1996. And the new one starring King LeBron James came out obviously just this past weekend. And so we wanted to come on and just talk about the differences, talk about what we like, what we didn't like, the difference between the two movies, and hola, Eva. And so Channy, when was the last time that you watched the original Space Jam? Because you weren't actually, neither one of us was born. I mean, it came out in the year I was born, but it came out before I was born. So I watched this movie, I don't know when, and it holds really no nostalgia to me, I don't think, because I don't really remember. Like, of course, I've seen the movie, but I don't know if I've seen it. You know what I mean? So when was the last time or the first time that you saw the original Space Jam? Bree, you're right. You got to be pretty close.
It's been a while. I remember seeing it. I don't remember when, where, how. I just remember watching it. I think I've seen it probably twice in my 21 years of being alive. I remember like the movie. I just don't remember when I saw it.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
So for me, I do not. I mean, of course, I've watched Space Jam. You know, like it was one of those movies that was probably on TV at some point when we were growing up, and I had to have seen it. There's no way I did not see the movie. And I remember bits and pieces of stuff that happened. But in preparation for this episode, I watched the original Space Jam yesterday, 2 days ago, and then I started watching the new one yesterday. I just finished it like 20 minutes ago. Just so I could get an accurate depiction of the differences.
Did you just say you started watching it yesterday and you finished it 20 minutes ago?
Yeah, because I was in the middle of doing something, and what we do last night? We went out for dinner last night, and when I got home, I was too tired.
You know, that's not how it works when you when you watch movies. You don't put it on. You do stuff on the side. You're supposed to actually watch.
I watch everything. I don't watch anything just sitting down.
It makes sense why you don't know jack shit about anything.
Even watching Space Jam, the original one, I was sitting here playing Watch Dogs. I got Watch Dogs on my headphones on one side and my AirPod on the other side, and I'm watching the movie. So, there you go. There you go, Bree. Oh, look, Bree and your mom are getting along, Channy. So yeah, I did watch them both. I had to just sit through and finish them. And I have my opinion.
Well, you didn't sit through and finish them, but go ahead.
I finished it at some point. It's done. I watched the whole thing. What are your opinions? Let's just go to the new one because neither one of us really has that much about the OG. Although it is the OG, and we'll get into some comparisons between the old and the new one. But what did you like about the new movie? What didn't you like about the new movie? Talk about your feelings on Space Jam: A New Legacy starring LeBron James.
I mean, it's obviously new, so they're gonna add kind of upgraded stuff, and it was a whole different concept than the first one.
Very much
so. Just like the scoring based of the game was just crazy because it's based on the kids game.
No,
that's what that. So I mean, that was cool. I thought it was weird at first. No, I'm not in the closet. I don't have a closet to sit in here. Well, I do, but I'm not gonna sit in there.
Anyway.
I thought it was cool. I thought it was funny. That's for sure. It's definitely funny.
Definitely times I was sitting here cracking up.
It was definitely funny.
Yeah, it was definitely. So where do you think? Now this happens a lot, right? Especially with movies that have sequels that come out years later, decades later than the original. Why do you feel like so many people have such a problem with the new one? Because a lot of the critics are saying that this movie was awful. A lot of people, just layman people, just the regular everyday people, are saying that this movie sucked and that it was so much worse than the original. I personally preferred the new one to the old one. I think I'm a creature of the moment. probably if I was alive in the 90s and I was born in the 80s and was old enough to remember it and for it to actually have meant something to me, then it might have made a difference. But for me, I much prefer the new one. So why do you think that a lot of people prefer the original one? Is it a LeBron versus
nostalgia? That's what it is. That's what it is with everything. It's like, oh, the old one, so like it's the original. You can't beat the original. There's truth to that, but you can't just see like her old head ass. You can't there's truth to you can't beat the original and that's fine, but it's like you just kind of people are going into the movie expecting something because it's like, oh, this was good, I'm hoping that this is better because whatever, and the critics, especially critics, they go to to watch specifics. They're just they're not there to just watch the movie, just enjoy it and it's a family movie. It's not supposed to be a Grammy winning, Oscar winning, whatever.
A Grammy winning movie, Gina?
A Grammy.
An
old award winning movie.
As someone in the film industry, don't you think you would know the title of the award that you're winning in the film industry?
Not really. I don't really pay attention to that. I don't care who wins what, when.
I get it.
I just watch. It's the nostalgia, and it's stupid. It's just watch the movie. Just enjoy it. People are like, oh, it's still not better than the original. I don't care if it's better or not. It's just there.
You kind of just have to set aside the fact that that something is going to be different than the original one. It cannot. It's 25 years later.
It cannot be the same thing.
If it was the exact same movie, no one would want to watch it. That's the whole point of it being released and there being a second one. You don't want to see the same thing that you saw in the first one. It's got to be different and bring it to 21 or the 21st century. And
you're taking way too much from an athlete to have.
But here's the thing. He really does not have poor acting skills. If you've seen him, if you watched him in Trainwreck, I don't know if you saw that movie at all, the Bill Hader and how was it?
Amy Schumer?
Amy Schumer. Did you see that movie?
No.
I didn't see it either because I don't like Amy Schumer that much.
I don't like Amy Schumer at all.
Love Bill Hader, but I am not an Amy Schumer fan. So, dog, I'm going to kill you. Get out. Get out of my room. Just go.
They're not bad, but you can't go in expecting to see Leonardo DiCaprio and
Well, yeah, it's just and some of it depends on the writing because in Trainwreck, as his character, he was goofy, he was funny, but in this movie, there was not a lot about him that was goofy and funny. He was very serious, and I think that is so much different than the LeBron James character that we see on the court because you always see him in the media having a good time with his friends, with his family. And this was so out of character for him, I think. I don't feel now, of course, I don't know the man. I don't know what he's like at the James household. But, I feel like he's not always the super overbearing, annoying dad type as he was in this movie. So it's kind of the way that it was written for him to be that way. You know what I mean? Because when he was having fun and spoiler alert, clearly we're going to spoil the movie a little bit. So in the one part of the movie when he tells the Looney Tunes to just be loony and he starts doing goofy stuff that he does on the court, you could see him having fun. And that's the LeBron James that everybody knows and loves, not the serious LeBron. You know what I mean?
See, that's your problem, Evangelita, because you see you have something against LeBron, so everything that you see wrong will be what you see. You don't focus on the whole premise of the movie and everything. It's just I don't like him, but every little thing that he does wrong, I'm gonna point it out. It's just she's gonna hate that I called it that, but I don't care.
What I liked about the OG, the original Space Jam, is that they made it they connected it to MJ's real life, right? MJ really did leave basketball. He really did go play baseball. He really did suck at baseball. He was not good. And so
that catcher even tried to help him, and
yeah, Fastball on the outside, don't swing, and then he still did. So he did not have a good baseball career, and then that's kind of what leads to the whole basketball game and blah 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 with the Monstars or whatever in the original Space Jam. But in this movie, they open it with LeBron missing a shot and him coming up, and the whole intro song is the highlights of his career. But then the storyline, it was tough. But the storyline is so much different than the LeBron that we've seen in reality. It didn't connect to his real life. It would have been interesting. I understand why he didn't have Savannah and Bronny and his actual kids in the movie. But it would have been interesting to see them in the movie, because then this whole thing would have been, his real family, and at least that would have connected. But it's so much different than what we usually see from him and his family, and the way that it was done in the movie, that I think it loses its connection there a little bit, because then he really does have to act. You know what I mean? Like, it really is him acting, and MJ was just playing basketball. Like, that's really all that he was doing in that movie, was he was just on screen to play basketball.
I like the how they kept making what's the word, references to old Space Jam.
I loved the references to the old Space Jam, even all the references in WB, because Warner Brothers is a huge corporation, right? So Warner Brothers has produced every movie in the King Kong,
Harry Potter in there, and I was like, hey.
You had every superhero ever.
Who was in there when you saw the Mystery Machine?
The Mystery Machine, bro. They had what's his name? Gosh dang it, Mark Hamill's Joker with the purple suit. Mm-hmm. Like, they had that Joker in the audience. You had Batman, you had Superman, you had Wonder Woman, you have The Matrix. All of these movies and shows over the years Warner Brothers has produced, and then you're getting all these costs. I thought that was dope. And then in that respect, I think that this movie, the new one, A New Legacy, does a much better job at connecting to everyone than Space Jam did. Because the original Space Jam obviously was made in 1996, so the references and things that were done then are going to be centered around the 80s and 90s. But A New Legacy does callbacks to everything to connect to kind of everyone, and I really like that about the new movie. I thought that was pretty cool.
I was gonna say, imagine they would have brought in like Michael Jordan. And then they said they were bringing Michael Jordan.
Was hilarious, and I was so confused because the whole, coming from North Carolina, he's a blah 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 champion, blah blah blah, Michael, and the whole time I'm like, man, I have not heard anyone say anything about Michael Jordan actually being in this movie. I'm so confused. Where is he? And then as it's coming up his body, I'm like, no, that's Michael B. Jordan. Ain't no way
they say, where's Michael A. Jordan?
We didn't get Michael A. Jordan, so we got Michael B. Jordan. And he was like, I was just trying to go get some popcorn, and then this man. That was one of the moments that I thought was absolutely hilarious. And you could see like LeBron was like, wow, look, like that's Michael Jordan coming out. And he was like, that's Michael B, man. Here's what I also liked about the new movie. You're right, Eva. The message in the new movie is definitely an A+, because this movie actually has a message where the original Space Jam doesn't really have a point. It was just like, let's do something cool with
beat the monsters. Cool. You need to help us.
But what I also liked about the Goon Squad, the evil squad from the new movie, was that they were actually, NBA and WNBA superstars, not just their voices or their skills from like in the original movie, but their likenesses and things that were interesting about them. Like, I thought that was really dope. So you got
Dame Time, he played with Time and whatnot, and like
anytime you had the Brow, you had Anthony Davis in there, you had
Clay, which was water and fire.
Klay Thompson, who was the water and fire. You got pieces of who they actually are as their characters, and I thought that was really cool. And to have them on the court and doing all that stuff, I really just love the animation and everything that they're able to do. And that's one of the things that, over 25 years, so much has changed. So yeah, people were upset about, them changing the animation style from the original Looney Tunes, but this is Looney Tunes of the 21st century. Like, this is 2021. Like, it cannot be the same Looney Tunes the whole time. And what I did like was that instead of like in the original movie, the Looney Tunes come to the real world and they play in the real world. So the only thing you see is Michael Jordan as himself, and then you see all the Looney Tunes as themselves on the court and playing the Monstars or whatever. But in the new movie, everyone goes into the Looney Tunes world. And so there's so much more you can play with graphics and all kinds of stuff. And I thought that was really dope too. So for me, you know, I'm definitely leaning to a new legacy, probably because I'm alive and know everything that it was referring to now. And it's a nostalgia thing. But for me, it's not nostalgic, the original movie, because I don't remember it. But the new one is like, it's current. I'm living right now. I'm old enough to know what it's talking about right now. And so I can appreciate it a little bit more than the original. Anything else?
I had something, but it slipped.
Well, think about it. If it comes up, we'll talk about it in a second. I got 3 questions. We're going to keep it kind of short tonight. We're just, basically talking a quick little review. Not going to go too in depth. But a couple things and we kind of talked about this. The first one, Channy, in your opinion, who's the better actor, LeBron or MJ?
Oh, it just refreshed. Talking about acting. Don Cheadle. We all know he's a great actor.
Don Cheadle was fantastic.
I think you're right about the writing, like the way they decided to write it, because I know he's a good actor. But the way he was acting,
we'll come back to
weird, because it's also like a family cartoon movie, but it did feel just like weird, like kind of.
Well, I think it was such a different Don Cheadle than what usually see him in serious roles. I mean, he was in
he's War Machine and
Iron Man, right? But so we've typically seen him in serious roles, and in this movie, Don Cheadle got to play with both the serious villain character, but also just like he looked like he was having a great time. Like he was just having fun, and that was fun to see. So I think as a villain, he was definitely a better villain than the Monstars in the original movie.
Yeah, we answered the MJ, and then
go to the MJ question, the MJ and LeBron question, then we'll come back to Bree's question because that's a fantastic question. We'll cover that one.
Better actor, I think I'm gonna say Michael Jordan, just a tad, because LeBron didn't do nothing wrong. It's just not his strong suit. Like he did a good job for like what he does and like not acting at all whatsoever.
Yeah,
he did a good job. That's what I think. But I think I just slightly better Michael Jordan, just a tad. Because
do you think that has anything to do with the writing, or do you think that's just the acting?
It might be the writing. I wouldn't discredit. Like I wouldn't say the writing was bad, and I wouldn't say whatever. It might be the writing and also the acting skills, because I highly doubt that Michael Jordan has any acting skills whatsoever.
We've only seen him really in that. I don't think he has any acting credits. Let me look while you're talking.
So I might say Michael Jordan just because it felt less cartoony in a way.
Michael Jordan was in a couple things as himself usually. He's in a couple movies. I don't know. I think that here's what I'll say. Dang, this is hard. I think that MJ probably put on a better acting performance, but here's why. I think MJ has a better acting performance because in more of the movie he had to act. For a lot of the movie, A New Legacy, LeBron was in Looney Tune world, and you were seeing his likeness do things, and all he had to do was provide his voice. So there was a significant portion of the movie where LeBron was just being a voice actor as opposed to a conventional actor. So which he did a good job at too. Now that you add the voice acting, because I remember he was a cartoon he made him into a cartoon when he went into Looney Tunes world. So and that's a good, I would probably say 40 to 50% of the movie they're in Looney Tunes recruiting, they're going around and doing all that stuff, and even half the game at the beginning of the game before it officially starts, he's still a character. He's still a Looney Tune. So he had to do both voice act and act as a conventional everyday actor. And I think that because most of his work was voice acting, and then the CGI was so much more, like, could you imagine a non-trained, non-professional actor going in and standing with a bunch of standing in a green screen, characters that don't exist? And I know the same thing happened in the original one, but there's so much more happening in the new movie
because everything's more. They did a lot more updated and stuff like that.
So I think MJ probably had the better acting performance, but that's only because he was set up better to succeed as an actor than LeBron was. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
All right, bet. Next question. Bree, we're going to save your question to the end because that's a great way to close. It's a simple question. Which movie did you prefer, the OG or A New Legacy? I'm going to go with The New Legacy because I just appreciate all the new things that they added. I thought it was just a lot more fun. And again, there's not that nostalgic element for me, so it's kind of hard.
That's a fact.
To connect.
I think right now I would probably go OG, only because it started with that one.
Yeah.
And like you can't go wrong with like the Monstars.
Right.
Just how normal the basketball game was, regardless of like it was Monstars.
Yeah.
So they were like, overpowered.
They were playing basketball. They weren't doing all
I think as of right now, I'd probably just go OG because of that. Because it's freaking Space Jam.
Makes sense.
That's where my favorite shoes came from also. The 11s, Space Jam 11. Love those shoes.
I don't know what shoes you're talking about, but they sound fire.
They are fire.
I'm not a sneakerhead. Let me look. Keep talking. I want to look these up.
But, maybe at some point I'd be like, okay, I've watched this. This is my 15th time watching it. And then it will become nostalgic to me.
Yeah.
And it's probably then I'll switch and be like, oh, this is like my Space Jam. Because then eventually the Goon Squad will be the Monstars for us. You know? So for now, I'll say the OG.
I can dig it. All right. Next one. This is an interesting question. And we're going to break it down because this would probably take a long time. So we're going to cut this down to a 3v3. All right. Instead of 5-on-5, we're going to cut this down to 3v3. You pick 3 on your side. I'll pick 3 on my side. And then we'll just compare the teams. So who is your dream team of star baller, director, and character actors that you'll be bringing with you on the quest? So where this question comes from is, imagine you are in Space Jam and you're recruiting your team. Pick I don't care how you do it. Let's pick 3 people that we would want on our team. If we're coaching, me versus you, we're coaching our dream team of baller, director, character actors, any combination of those. Who are you putting out on the court, Channy? Give me your first one.
Do you have yours figured out?
No, absolutely not.
Star baller, director, and character actor?
Any combination of the 3. It doesn't have to be one of each because I don't know that many. So I'm going to start with this one. All right, I'll go first. I'm going to pick a true basketball player because we're playing basketball, 3-on-3. So I got to throw a basketball star on there, right?
Ja Morant.
I was going to say that. But do you know who I would pick instead of Ja Morant? Because he's the homie. You know who I pick instead of Ja Morant? I want to see Allen Iverson. I think that Allen Iverson, he's clearly one of the best point guards to ever play the game. He was a pure scorer. He can pretty much do anything on the court. I'm throwing AI out there. I think he's got enough grit to win. So who you got for AI, Channy?
The first thought that came up was KD.
I
would like to see KD do that.
That's a great thought.
Have you seen that basketball movie that KD had?
I did not.
It's called Starstruck. It was dope. It wasn't bad. he was like somehow him and this kid like had a basketball and then like they both touched at the same time.
Yeah.
And like I wish I had your powers or something like that. And his powers were taken kind of like the Monstars way.
Yeah.
By the kid, so the kid became like this really good basketball player for the high school, and then he was like, "Oh, I don't have my powers anymore. I'm in a slump." Blah blah, and it was dope. But I do want to see him.
Dennis Rodman would be a phenomenal choice because Dennis Rodman is already a character. Him animated in a Space Jam new legacy would be hilarious because he is an over the top personality.
I'm still going with KD.
I'm going with AI. All right, what you got next? Who else are you gonna put on the team? Throw a character out there somewhere.
A character.
A character from any universe, doesn't matter from where. Just some type of animated character.
I don't want to pick this character, but it's the first thing that came up. I don't want to pick it, but like Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Hey, you kind of had that in the movie. You had Spider-Woman kind of in the new legacy. So we already know what she can do, what he can do.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
So
he can do, yeah, he can
Spider-Man,
grab the ball from you by web slinging. You feel me?
Spider-Man, dang. You know how I think would, I think would be a great character to put in the Space Jam movie. I'm taking Will from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
Oh my God, I put that
Yeah, buddy, I'm gonna get the red dude with the little, that's Will Chamberlain, man. I'm taking Wilt from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends because he actually knows how to play basketball, kind of. Imaginary. But I'm gonna throw him in there. I think he could be pretty dope. You know what I'm saying? He's tall. Okay. He's got the basketball already. He's already.
Bob the Minion.
I'm dead. All right, and give me just one miscellaneous person, Jenny. This will be a person or a character to complete your squad. So I got AI and I got Will from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. You have KD and you have Spider-Man. So let's see who's rounding out your 3v3 squad, Jenny.
My 3v3 squad will end with damn. What am I ending with? Let me get either one, the Coyote or BB.
The Roadrunner. You said a BB. I'm sick. That's so funny.
I mean, Peyton, you know what I'm saying? They go through and they're like, hey, and it's just a wall.
Yeah, and this is the wall. That would be dope. Yeah. If I'm going Looney Tunes character, that's a good one to end on, a Looney Tunes character. So if I'm going Looney Tunes character, I'm going with the OG. I'm going Bugs Bunny, man. You can't go wrong with Bugs Bunny, man.
Okay, I don't hate it. You feel me?
It's Bugs Bunny. How can you go wrong with a classic like Bugs? So we got AI, Bugs Bunny, and Wilt from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends against KD and
Spider-Man, BB.
Spider-Man and
BB
and the Roadrunner, BB.
Oh, BB
and Roadrunner. That's a pretty good matchup. I'm getting washed, but that's a pretty good matchup. You know what I'm saying? It'll be a great time. See, Bugs Bunny is the one. That's what your mom.
He's not catching BB though.
Nobody catching BB. But that's okay. We got
Flash, maybe.
All right. And that's the end of that. So for the last topic that we're going to talk about, we're going to address Bree's question from earlier, and then we're going to get up out of here. In another 25 years, if another movie comes out, would you still like this one more? Well, God willing, if I live another 25 years, I don't know. I guess we'd have to see how much farther movies and animation can go and who will star in the next one. That's the question. Who is going to be because it's obvious, right, that if you're going to compare anyone's game from right now who is still alive LeBron is the best GOAT that there is, right? Jordan was Jordan. Everybody loved Jordan. He was the best thing that ever existed. So it made sense for him to be in that movie. It makes sense for LeBron to be the star of this movie because he's compared to Jordan more than anyone else in the game because of his greatness. So the real question is, who is going to be the next greatest basketball player in 25 years that could star in the movie? Don't even say it because you're wrong. So I think that, I mean,
you know what it is. Come on, yo.
Depending on, there we go. Eva's right.
I mean, no.
Great, you're definitely right. If another one comes out, I would have that same nostalgic feeling. But I don't think I'm that much of a creature of the moment that I would get stuck in the present. You know what I mean? Like of right now's movie. But I guess I really wouldn't know. But I guess it comes down to how much further animation advances in the next 25 years. And also on top of that, who's going to be...
We're going to be able to sit in the crowd watching that
player. Huh?
We're going to be sitting in the crowd watching it, bro.
Facts. It's going to be a live action Space Jam. They're actually going to make
live action, like
3D print Looney Tunes and have them run around the court. We're going to be in the next one. That would
they said something about that on it was like a Twitter thing, and then they posted it on Instagram, like SportsCenter, like shared it, and it was like it had to deal with like Tom Brady and like some other stuff. It would make sense. It would make sense.
But I think what makes basketball an easier concept for this type of movie is that basketball is 5-on-5. When you get into football, you get 11 on one side, 11 on the other. Baseball's 9.
You can do the 7v7.
I mean, yeah, you could shorten it. You know what I mean? You could make it a smaller game, but would it have the same effect? I think that outside of, are there that many NFL players you think that are universally loved that would be able to star in a movie like Space Jam?
Out of all people, Chris Godwin. Anyways, what is it?
Because, I mean, Tom Brady would be the obvious choice, I think.
He's Michael Jordan.
He is. He's the GOAT of his sport. He's the GOAT of all GOATs. We already had that conversation a while ago. So would it work? That would be an interesting. It would definitely be
the concept that they said, like that tweet or whatever. That concept would work. I don't remember the concept, so I don't know like what we could imagine. Like I don't have anything.
So here's the movie: Patrick Mahomes versus Tom Brady. Tom Brady has just a regular team, and you need Patrick Mahomes and the Looney Tunes to go beat Tom Brady, and that's the game. And Tom Brady could play a villain. He's done it his whole career. I think it would be a great movie. And he
could be the
team that he plays against, the Giants, because it's the only team that can beat Tom Brady.
I'm out, yo.
Except the Eagles. Oh, I forgot. The Eagles also.
I'm out. I'm not talking to you anymore. And yeah, we still got 6. Shut up.
No, but I don't know. I don't know if they could.
It took you 2 tries to beat Brady. I don't hear none of that.
I don't know. Well, hey, it still happens. So that's all that matters at the end of the day. I think that it would be interesting. I think it makes the most sense. You know what? Could you do it for baseball? I think it could work for baseball too. I think that, you put Ken Griffey out there. You put Mike Trout in the movie. It would be interesting to see like the Looney Tunes fielding and batting. Like you could do some really fun stuff with that. 100-mile-per-hour fastballs. Daffy Duck comes up to the plate. You see the fastball go by his face, and then his bill turns around like
the usual.
Stuff, and he's like, "Hey, come on, man! Like, throw it straight." So it would be interesting to see if the Space Jam concept could work potentially in another game, another sport. But I don't know.
I'm gonna talk to him. I'm gonna go ahead and send him a nice lengthy email.
Let's write the screenplay. We got this.
Oh, I ain't say write it. I'm gonna give him the idea.
All right, Chaney. So, Space Jam, OG or New Legacy? You're going with the OG. I'm going with the New Legacy. Let's see in 25 years, if it even takes that long, what comes the next.
They even make another
movie. If they make another one, if it takes that long, what's going to be the next cartoon live action crossover movie? And will it live up to the hype? So I guess we'll find out. This has been a fantastic episode of AfroLatinos with your co-host Aubyn.
And your co-host Chandler, and you get no communication because you said Chris Godwin out of all people. Let's no.
Make sure to not communication, commission. I don't know about that. You might get a cut, but I don't know. You really
might get a high five if anything.
We'll really have to think about it. Follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, anywhere the digital podcast can be found. We'll see you guys on Tuesday for another episode. I'm sorry, Wednesday for another episode of You Think You Know. Have a good night, everybody.
Goodbye.